personal development. This recognition involves tuning into our inner voice and acknowledging any signs of stagnation or discontent. It may manifest as a sense of restlessness, a longing for something more, or a realization that our current choices and habits are not aligning with our true desires and values. This awareness is not about self-criticism, but rather a compassionate understanding that we have the power to shape our lives according to our aspirations. By recognizing the need for change, we open ourselves to new possibilities and opportunities for growth. It empowers us to take ownership of our circumstances and to embark on a journey of self-discovery and self-improvement. This awareness serves as a catalyst for personal transformation, inspiring us to take proactive steps towards creating a life that is more aligned with our authentic selves. Overcoming procrastination is essential in moving towards our goals and achieving success. It involves recognizing the tendencies and habits that lead to delaying tasks or decisions. Procrastination often stems from various factors such as fear of failure, perfectionism, lack of motivation, or feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of a task. To conquer procrastination, it's crucial to start by understanding its root causes. By identifying why we procrastinate, we can address these underlying issues effectively. This self-awareness allows us to develop strategies to counteract procrastination and increase our productivity. Breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps is a practical approach to overcoming procrastination. By focusing on one step at a time, we reduce feelings of overwhelm and create momentum towards completing the task. Setting specific, achievable goals with deadlines helps to create a sense of urgency and accountability, motivating us to take action. Creating a conducive environment for productivity is another effective strategy. This involves minimizing this. All right, I'm gonna pause that real quick. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. We made it. So I'm always hyped after a workout, right? Just got off my bike. But anyway, I'm listening to Miles Monroe. I've been listening to him lately while riding, and in the morning I'm always looking to empower myself. But this is called Force Yourself to Take Action. So I'll drop the link. Really, really good clip. But for tonight, y'all, we are back. 12 pillars. We've been talking about the 12 pillars for the last couple of nights. So tonight we're on chapter 8. I'm just going to summarize. I've been getting so much out of this. It's so crazy how you can read the same thing over and over and get a different message from the same book or verse. If you read in the Bible, is it just boggles my mind. But anyway, so chapter 8 is, first of all, what's up, everybody? My name is Crystal. Some people call me Little Baller. I'm your results and transformation coach for those of you that are hopping on for the very first time. I'm working on my consistency. I've committed to going live for 90 days straight, y'all. This is day 20 of 90. We are like a quarter of a way there, a couple more days, and 25% will be done. We will never hit the target if we don't get started. So I always like to be a leader by example, not just talking about it. So I threw myself out there, and here we are. So now, chapter 8 in the 12 pillars, all of life is sales. And it says, one key to have an influence with others is to have others perceive you as a person of talent and virtue. And I pulled up the definition of virtue. Most people only remember or know the scripture in the Bible when they talk about being a virtuous person. But on Google, it says a good moral quality in a person or a general quality. Nope, that's not what I meant to read. Beep. Honesty, courage, compassion, generosity, fidelity, integrity, fairness, self-control, and prudence. That is the definition of virtue. So, per usual, I'm just going to read some of the things that I've gotten out of this chapter when I read it, that I've highlighted. Here we go. If this is not y'all first rodeo, y'all know it's take us a couple seconds. Okay. So the first is about sales and the second is about money. Anyone can get better at sales if they apply themselves. The first thing to realize is that everything is sales. And to better understand it, to give it a broader application of this principle, it is better to understand sales as a concept of influence. And I'll break that down in a second. Influence is the key to a successful life. Anyone who wants to succeed must learn the art and skill of influencing others. When they do that, they will be successful. There's a natural artist art about there's a natural here I go get tongue tied. There's a natural art among men, the grounds of which is talent and virtue. So it says, so what does that have? I'm sorry. So the question that Michael asked was, so what does that? Let me read what's on the book. See, I get excited. Take two. Okay. So what does that have anything to do with sales and influence? If you want to sell more and make more money, you have to become a better influencer. And the key to influencing others is to have others perceive you as a person of talent and virtue. Talent and virtue are the same as character and skill. You will always be growing in your influence. Talent and virtue are the foundation of successful influence and sales, whether you are selling a product or selling yourself. And have a successful person is always, I'm sorry, I skipped something, my bad. Let me say that better. Bear with me. Talent and virtue are the foundation of a successful influence and sales, whether you are selling a product or selling yourself. And a successful person is always selling him or herself. Okay, so know your stuff, talk to lots of people, be persistent, and never take no for an answer. And we're going to go back and cover some of that. I just want to get what I highlighted out of the way real quick. You cannot speak that which you do not know. You cannot share that which you do not feel. You cannot translate that which you do not have. And you cannot give that which you do not possess. To give it and share it, and for it to be effective, you first need to have it. If you are going to sell a product, you have to know it, believe in it, and feel it. And the same is true if you are selling yourself. So we'll talk about talking to a lot of people and never take no for an answer. And we'll talk about not taking no for an answer in a second. The idea is that most people just aren't persistent enough to succeed in sales or life for that matter. So even though this chapter is talking about sales, it's not also always talking about like everybody that's listening or everyone in the world don't own a business and don't have a product to sell. So you can use that as he just stated and shared, just in life, period. And when he talked about, I'm going to close this real quick, and I'm just going to give y'all my feed forward, what I got out of it. When he talked about being a person of virtue and not taking no for an answer, like you really got to believe in whatever it is that you're doing. So, for example, I'll just run back. When I had my restaurant, I really enjoyed cooking the food at the time. I still enjoy cooking. It's just that the part that me not going to school to manage people and really got tired of people not showing up, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It wasn't fun anymore. But while I was in it, like I loved to like put smiles on people's face, even to this day. So when folks would come in, whether I catered weddings, we had the restaurant, but I also catered weddings. But it was nothing more fulfilling to have a bride come and say, this is my vision for my wedding. Had a vision for how we wanted the room. She wanted the room to look, had a vision for how she wanted the food to sit and taste and feel, and to be able to take that knowledge, right, and then do what it is that I do, and then watch her walk into a room on her wedding date, like on her wedding day. That was like so fulfilling. And then, like I said, having a restaurant, people will come in. Yes, you start a business, even for what I do now. Yes, you start a business to make money, but for me, it's like what the people really get out of it. So back then, man, we had a restaurant, y'all. Pancakes, macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes, French, everything we did was homemade. And you could tell the difference between somebody cracking open a can and somebody like really putting their heart into the food. It's like you take all this time to cook the food and they eat it in 5 minutes. But it was the joy of watching them like eat it and really appreciate all that you put into it. So I've always been a person that wanted to exceed the expectation of my client or customer or whatever it is. In every business I had, I always had like the heart piece in it. For example, when I had Carey's Cuisine, it was my customers were loving every bite, and we put love in every bite. So we didn't just open up stuff and just throw it together and be like, here you go. Like it really put some time and some time and I was gonna say attention, but that's not the word I'm looking for, but love into it. And then when I walked away from that and started the bakery, it was Carey's Cuisine. I'm sorry, it was Carey's Cakes. Like when people would come with a vision, and y'all, this is why I continue to tell you, you gotta have faith and you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself even when you don't believe in yourself. And I don't know if I share this story often about the bakery and how the bakery came to pass. So I had a customer. I don't like calling my people clients or customers. She was like a family member, worked across the street from us at, I think, a dentist or whatever. And I had a young lady named Ashley doing my cakes for me. And when Ashley quit, I didn't realize, I'm not from here, I'm from Jersey. I didn't realize how far Damascus, Maryland was. So this young lady was driving like an hour and some change to come work for me to make these elaborate cakes and things of that nature, because Crystal knew how to make a pound cake. To this day, I still do banana pudding, all that. I would make a cake and put buttercream icing. But when they came out with this fondant stuff, I was like, oh yeah, Crystal don't do that. And when she stopped coming, people would request a fondant cake, and I was like, I don't do those. So anyway, Leandra being that was her name, the friend that she was, she said, listen, I need a Coach pocketbook cake. And I was like, girl, Ashley don't work here no more, so I don't know what to tell you. You know what she said? It's so crazy how sometimes we have to borrow other people's eyes. She said, I'm gonna pay for the cake, you make the cake, and whatever it is you come up with, I'm just gonna take it. I was like, ooh, she got a lot of faith in me. So I'm telling y'all, with a little prayer and a little oomph will do for you. I'm not into pocketbooks. I didn't even know really, I knew what a Coach pocketbook was, but wasn't really into all the designs. I went on YouTube or one of them things, and I looked at the pocketbook and I was like, man, there's nothing like other people having faith in you when you like sitting on the fence. So I'm like, if she bad enough to pay me this money, we gonna figure this out. I remember this like it was yesterday. You can ask my sister. We went in there. I pulled up a picture of a Coach pocketbook, and I was like, I don't know how we gonna make this happen, Lord, but we just gonna make it happen. And I started watching videos of people carving cakes. First time I've ever carved a cake. But let me tell you something. And I'm like, if you don't move, like you're never going to get there. So when she walked in and looked at that cake, y'all, she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what to expect, right? But she walked in, she was like, oh my God, this cake is so nice. We had the seeds on that joint and everything. From that point forward, I was the cake lady. I was like, what y'all need? Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of faith. And I'm laughing because this is just how I move all together. I have a little success. Oh, don't show me. I'm like, oh, we could do this. A little prayer, a little faith in yourself, continue to add that. And that's how I started creating cakes. If someone came in and they said, I want a cake looking like this phone, I was like, all right. My sister, we would come up with the price and be like, and we would underprice all of our stuff because you don't know what you don't know, but it was cool at the time. So I was saying that to say, like, when you really just put your heart into whatever it is that you're doing, it will turn out for you. And you might fail a couple times. Like, I mean, we didn't, all of our cakes from that point forward weren't glorious, but we didn't give up. And okay, let me go back to the subject. All life is sales. Why was I saying that? Okay, so yes. Anyway, putting your heart into whatever it is that you do. And when we talk about being a person of influence and not taking no, you have to, especially being a business owner, or even not, you don't have to be a business owner. You could be a person of influence. There's so many ways to start a business. There's so many avenues out here. You don't always have to have a brick or mortar, but I believe what we should have as a people is like faith in ourselves to just do it. A lot of times we'll write it out and we'll test it by asking other people what do they think, and then we'll sit there. I see so many people sit on the fence. I've been on the fence a couple times, but I'm like, man, even for what I'm doing now, and I'm like, there's some other things that I want to do, and it's like, Crystal, what keep me going is the fact that like tomorrow's not promised. I'm about to be 50 soon, and I'm like, I don't know how many more of these years God is going to give me, and I don't want to leave here without fulfilling them. And a lot of times the only person that can stop me is myself. People on the outside can't ever stop any of us. But when you like are sincere and you show up, as your highest self, as people will say. I'll just say as your better self. We'll just keep it simple. But when you continue to work on yourself, people will feel that. Like, you can't fake virtue but for so long. You know how people, like, I've been around people where they're like, oh, I love you, and they'll say all this stuff. And I'm not one, like, I got some people that'll just call you out. I'll just smile and give you a hug and be like, okay. Knowing deep down inside that person don't care for you, but that's not my business. Like I said, what other people do don't have nothing to do with you. How you respond is all you can control. And you just keep on keeping on. But when we and where I am today, what do I always say? I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And if you continue to work on yourself day after day after day, you will get there. So even talking about business, so I had the bakery. I walked away from the bakery to do what it is that I'm doing now. I was in a car accident, and I was doing this part time. And when I realized, like, the lives that I was touching, I didn't even know, like, a couple of people stopped by my house. I thought I was going to die, but I was on my recovery bed, if you will, or however you want to say it. But I was recovering, and just to hear them say, like, how much of a difference you made in my life. And I'm like, man, I live for this stuff. Like, if I can help somebody else become better, this is like what it is that I love to do. So if I can do that and make some money while doing it, I'm like, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So that's when I decided to do what it is that I'm doing now. And when they say don't take no for an answer, and part of the challenge for me is this, most of my clients come and they want to lose weight. Some want to putting on muscle don't have anything to really do with your health. A lot of times, if we just be honest, we carry weight on us sometimes that could be detrimental to our health, right? Where you may not see next week if you don't get this together. So when I have someone come and they're just like, man, I really need your help, like, I take it personal. And it's like, I take it personal in the sense where it's like, man, okay, let's make this happen. But what I realized through the years, like, you can't make people do anything, but you could continue to show up as your highest self. You could continue to lead by example. This is why I do some of the things that I do sometimes, to show people it's possible if you just really lock in. And one of the things that we have to learn as a people to get under control is our flesh, and getting our flesh under subjection and under control is one of the hardest things ever. Whether we're talking about food, like, I love pizza, y'all. And like, if I go on a fast and it never fails, the pizza will come in and it's just like, man, I just want to slice that pizza. But you got to have something on the inside that's pulling you a little stronger to say, you know what? Guess what? Tomorrow or next week, that same pizza is going to be there. So, when I shared that, I dug a little deeper into this whole intermittent fasting thing. It's abstaining from food. Our flesh is yearning for certain things, but creating and having a discipline to say no and mean it and stand your ground, the reward after you go through that process, like, there's no other feeling like that feeling of victory. You did that. Like, you did that. So, okay, but what was I saying? I was saying something before that. So talking about the business, and even we was talking about virtue. So yes, that's not something that you can fake. And I'm always going to encourage us. I'm saying us because even a lot of times when I say stuff to you guys, the message is always to the messenger first. I don't care who talking to you. It's to the messenger first, and then out to everybody else. But we may not be where we want to be, but when you wake up and say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I want to be better, you just start to make small changes. That's all you got to do. I say this every night, right? Rome wasn't built overnight. The people that's trying to tell you that you ain't nothing because you're not building it overnight, you need to delete them. Those that are not supporting you, you need to delete them, and get around some people that have vision, that have faith, that's going to support you. Or sometimes God will put you in a situation where he just wants you to depend on him, and it ain't got nothing to do with the other people. We talked about this last night too. How bad do you want it? Because sometimes we'll say we want a thing, but then we're looking for everybody else to support us in it. Nah, this was your vision. This was your goal. This was your dream. This is your journey. Make it happen. Period. That's like the tough love. I was, talking to someone earlier, and we were talking about just coaching and motivating people, and just getting people to see let me say that differently. We were talking about winning, and everybody's definition of winning is different. And however, I'm trying to say this the right way. When I say everybody's definition of winning, for me, like, I'm a no excuse person with myself first. It's so crazy because I'll take excuses from other people because I'm like, if that's what you want to tell me, I have no other choice because I'm not at your house. I'm not following you around with a microscope. I'm not doing, but if that is good enough for you, then it's good enough for me. I just choose to not give myself any passes. And it's not that I don't want to come, I mean, most of you guys that know me know I never come from a space of being arrogant. It's just like, you just got to want it bad enough. And when I speak, it's like the message to the messenger first. Like, truth be told, one of my goals, and I know I've been talking about cycling because I just love to ride my bike. I love to be a competitive cycler, and I can't wait to get my fitness back to where it was before. But truth be told, I got to drop about another. Crystal said 10 pounds. Talking to the experts is 20. But I just want to ride my bike faster. I want to be stronger. I want to increase my FTP, if I said it, or FPT, one of those two. Y'all that are cyclists know what I'm talking about. Those that aren't, it all sounds good to you. You don't know what I'm talking about anyway. But I want to increase that and drop my weight so that I could just be a better racer. But that takes sacrifice. Like, you just don't get to wake up and just eat whatever you want. It takes a sacrifice, and it's not always easy. But I have these things in front of me. So I literally, on my wall right here, my first year of cycling, I won my 4th race. And I keep telling myself, like, and this is how we get to talk to ourselves if we choose. If you did it before, you could do it again. You just got to do some things different, because before you were 10 years younger. But it's not that it's not possible. I was having a conversation with my coach the other day, and she mentioned a young lady. Well, she's a seasoned woman. She said, asked me if I knew her. I didn't. I looked her up. She's about 50. She might even be 60, but she's still winning. So when I see things like that, I'm like, look, like I told y'all before, we all put our underwear on the same way. It all come down and boil down to who's going to show up consistently, who's going to be willing to put in the work, who's going to have trust and faith in themselves to keep on keeping on. And it doesn't mean that every day that I wake up I win. There'll never be, and I say this over and over again, y'all might see me bust my butt, you may see me fall, you may see me get a black eye, you may see me bust my elbow, but you'll never ever read anywhere where, dang, she just quit. Ever. Like, ever, ever, ever. That's not going to happen. I'm just not built that way. And I'll just continue to do what it is that I need to do to figure it out. So even going back to talking about being a person of influence, being a lifetime learner. Hold up. Make sure I'm not mixing up these chapters, because I start getting excited. I just start saying all kind of stuff. I'm sorry, that was yesterday. All life is sales. But whether we have a business or not, we sell ourselves. Like, literally, whether it's to our families, it's just, I don't know a better way to explain it, but if you get the book, you may get something else out of it. I'm just a girl over here looking to be great and consistent, but super passionate about things and the things that I'm doing. And I'm never going to stop saying mindset is everything, y'all, because the birds be trying to get me. They fly over my head. The thoughts are there, but I continue to tell myself, I'm like, man, where I am now, like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And if I was to sum up my life right now and what I have, you know what I see? I'm like, God have more for me. So don't settle. Don't stop yet. And it doesn't have anything. It's not all about the racing piece, just life in general, everything. You know, I constantly talk about total transformation, mind, body, and soul. You got to work on all of those. They say we should have balance, but there's really, personal opinion, there's really no things. It's nothing. I'm sorry. See, I get excited. Let me say that better. People talk about balance. There's no such thing, per me, as balance. Like, you're always going to be working on something more than the other, but I believe that we should continue to work on all. Like, I should not spend 12 months out of the year killing it, trying to be a better cyclist, and my spirit is dying, right? I should not be all 12, and let me say this better so that I don't want people inboxing me, well, you saying that you shouldn't be serving God 12. That's not what I'm saying. Because I know people that are super spiritual and they don't have a life. They don't have a happy life. I don't care what nobody say. You can find this I said this before. Yes, I have a book, Crystal, chapter 3, verses 4. I don't believe God created us to just be spiritual and not be happy. I know I see so many people, they're just not happy. And I'm just like, I just don't believe that God created us. But that's just me. Maybe he just created me not be happy. Not to not be happy. Did I say that right? Double negative. Maybe he just created me to be a servant and to be a happy servant and to have goals and dreams and see them fulfilled. And this is why you got to be careful, really. I know I sound like a broken record. What we listen to, who we listen to, because I'm just not willing to take advice. And I'm gonna walk lightly when I say this, because I believe that God could send people with a message for us that may not necessarily be in the space we're looking to go, if that makes sense. But normally he will send somebody that can be an inspiration to you, of showing you how you can be a servant, how you can live a fulfilled life, how you can be happy, how you can be energized, all of that. So I'm just super grateful for, again, the heart that when he created me, that he's given me, and just the understanding and all that good stuff. And do I always get it right? Not always, but like I said, those of us that have an ear to hear, we really got to be locked in, because if you don't be careful, you'll have people come. I've I've been in the rooms where they're like, God said this, and sometimes God didn't tell that person to tell you that. So you gotta learn how to discern, and that come with wisdom. I'm telling y'all, I swear. Now that I'm getting older, hold up. Now that I'm getting older, I realize the more I talk, I need to hydrate. But seriously, all jokes aside, the older I get, I guess I'm not older, but a little bit wiser now. Because the old Crystal, you probably could have told her anything, but the math wasn't mathing. So yeah, we started off by talking about a life of sales, and I got all the way on the other side of the ocean. But I just started talking. I'm like, Lord, whatever you have for the people and myself, let's just roll with it, and that's what we do. So again, for those of you that are just tuning in, the 12 pillars. I know it's time for me to go to bed. This is what y'all get when I go live at 10 o'clock at night. But the 12 pillars is phenomenal. I'm so grateful just to be here. And I don't say that lightly, because, he could have not waking us up today, but he did. But I'm really excited about the future. I'm excited about, y'all probably like, Crystal, you stay excited. I do. I'm just really, let me just pat myself on the back for really getting outside of my comfort zone and actually doing this. And I like to do the hard stuff. And I don't know, like I said, we're all different, but if it doesn't challenge me 9 times out of 10, I'm not interested. Even with this whole cycling thing, man, it's hard. But I'm like, girl, you're harder. Just continue to wake up and push through. So to go live, and I know y'all like, Crystal, you say this every night. I'm like, did I really commit to going live for 90 days straight? Y'all, that's why I gotta grab these books to talk to y'all about something, because I'm like, Lord, what are we gonna talk to these people about for 90 days straight? But it's funny. It's preparing me for something, because I really love inspiring people, and I can't wait to kick off one of my BEU events. I did it on a small scale, but I see a bigger vision. It's so crazy. They say if your goals don't scare you and they're not big enough, and every time I think about it, my heart is like this. But I'm like, girl, we could do anything that we put our heart, anything we put our mind to, and whatever God has for you is for you. So it'll come full circle one day. Maybe we'll come back and look at this and be like, remember you said this, and look at you now. So definitely looking forward to dying empty, pouring out, and just again, being a woman of virtue, a leader by example. And I want to show people like how to become, the whole title of this 90 days is how do we go from being stuck to becoming unstoppable. You got to see it before you see it. And I'm always telling folks, borrow my eyes if you don't see it. Just take it one day at a time. And I promise you, like even with this 90 days, when I get to day 90, I should be well versed in going live and whatever. But I'm interested to see how this is all going to pan out. But I really appreciate you guys that have been sending me messages. We'll get better at it. We'll definitely get better at it. But per usual, before we end every night, I like to tell you guys, just be committed to your journey. Be committed to becoming 1% better every day. Trust your process. Put your blinders on. Surround yourself around people that's going to support you and where you're going, and just never give up. you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to say things you shouldn't say. You're going to stomp your toe. You're going to hit your knee. But just please don't ever let the day come where you just throw your arms up and say that I'm quitting. I made a vow to myself, to my family, and to my people. You will never, ever see me get to the point where I'm like, I'm just quitting. When I say that, you know, it's probably time. My time has been expired. But do something today or tonight or tomorrow morning when you wake up. Lord willing, we'll all wake up. That your future self is going to thank you for. Those of you who have a word of prayer, continue to pray for your girl. And that's all I have for you guys. Peace. I'm still working on that exit. You know how everybody have like a certain thing that they say when they log off. I just change it every night. But if any of you guys that are experts, feel free to inbox me an intro and is the extra or X whatever exit. Y'all know what I mean. But anyway, have a good night. Love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow for day 21. Let's go.